My community-based research question relates to helping low-income families in our community. I have worked with Habitat for Humanity over the years, and I reached out to someone that I had previously gone on a trip with, and I talked with them, and we did a lot of other work. So I just want to go over that process with you, what all I learned, and just a little bit about what Habitat for Humanity is all about and what they try to do for the community. Habitat for Humanity gives a chance to those families in need. They have helped thousands of families, low-income families around the world that need a decent place to live. My opinion is that everyone deserves a comfortable place to go home to every night, and as a community, we're all responsible for that. We're all responsible for making that happen. Habitat for Humanity helps families around the world build their futures. According to learningtogive.org, Habitat for Humanity International is a non-profit Christian organization that partners with future and current homeowners to build simple, decent, and affordable housing for very low-income families. Their headquarters reside in Atlanta, Georgia, where an international board of directors oversees the work of Habitat for Humanity. This organization is operated by an administrative staff, professional and support employees, and volunteers. Volunteers are actually where most of the work gets done. Volunteers and future homeowners work together in the building process, is how Learning to Give describes it. Habitat for Humanity works in nearly 1,400 communities throughout the United States and 70 countries in the world. They help those in need of an affordable home to be strong, stable, and self-reliant. This organization believes everyone should have a good place to live. I have been involved in different volunteer and public service work over the years that have helped communities make this difference, but I worked with Habitat for Humanity, who helps build houses for low-income families so they have a decent place to live. Habitat for Humanity helps families around the world build their futures. It was the families community, whenever I participated, that reached out to the organization to help them because their home was not comfortable for them. Without this organization's help, many families would still be living in a run-down house that is not up to standards. Habitat for Humanity helps families across the globe based on a few select criteria. They look at how much the family is in need, if they are willing to work with their organization in the future, that's definitely a big part, and their ability to repay a mortgage with an affordable payment plan. Without meeting these criteria, it is hard for Habitat for Humanity to get involved. When Habitat for Humanity is going through the selection process, they have to keep in mind that they need workers to help build every house. They look for applicants that are willing to invest their time into building others' homes after theirs has been completed. So they're more looking towards people who are interested in helping them out as well, which, someone could say that is selfish, but I think that helps narrow down the people into groups of who are actually in this for the right reason and those who just want a nicer house. So I think that is a good selection process and a good way to go about it. When a family in need wants to help other families in need by giving the organization hours of their labor, they're more likely to be chosen, like I said. This organization believes everyone should have a good place to live, and we need to make sure if someone in our community fits these qualifications that we help them out. That's part of our responsibility. It not only benefits the family, but the entire community. And it means a lot to me when other community members help each other and show that they care. The organization works with government to increase support for affordable homeownership and decent housing. The organization keeps an eye on public policies regarding houses, community, and international development, and advocates for policies that will increase access to decent, affordable housing available to people around the world. Habitat for Humanity says that they will accept government funds as long as they have no conditions that would violate their principles or limit our ability to proclaim our Christian identity. That is from Habitat.org. That is from their home website. Although Habitat for Humanity does accept help from the government, it does accept help from the government. It is limited and does not account for the majority of the funds the organization receives as a whole. About 50% of Habitat's revenue comes from individuals, which is from bridgespan.org. They are a global nonprofit ecumenical Christian housing organization that does not discriminate against anyone based off of race or religion. They have a policy that will help anyone in need and welcome volunteers and supporters from all backgrounds. I was a volunteer and helped Habitat for Humanity build a house on a mission trip to Springfield, Illinois. The trip was extremely rewarding. Honestly, just being on the trip, I didn't really expect to get a whole lot out of it, but I really did, and it blew my expectations. It was something that I believe everyone needs to be a part of at some point in their lifetime. Everyone I worked with was extremely helpful and kind. The construction workers were patient with those of us who were new to the building process, which I was grateful for because I really didn't know what I was doing. The family that the house was being built for, too, they were very nice and they helped out in any way they could. They were a very low-income family with a couple of children, and they just needed a good place to call home. I not only helped build a house for a family in need, though, I also helped a neighbor take her fence out of the ground. All of us did. It took a lot of work. It took several hours. She even gave us lunch and drinks while we were working on her yard, so she was very grateful. She was an older lady who I think she had knee surgery, and there were a lot of other complications, and it was even hard for her to walk around her house, but she still made us lunch, which was really nice. Habitat for Humanity helps improve homes and assist with strenuous physical activity when the homeowner is not able to do so for themselves, which is exactly what we helped with. From my experience with this community organization, they are reputable and want to make sure each and every family gets the help they need and deserve. They don't only build new construction, they work in many different ways to give others affordable housing. They renovate existing homes, usually in urban areas, and help repair and improve homes in neighborhoods. Within their organization, they have specific teams, such as a disaster response team that works with local communities to help with any housing needs after natural disaster hits. They also do advocacy work that raises awareness and supports affordable housing around the world. Outside of North America, Outside of North America, a lot of other work goes on. And whenever you're outside of the country, outside of North America, there's a lot of other things that you do have to deal with. And I think that it's almost harder with the selection process. And it makes it more of a difficult process to go through altogether. They do work with even more families outside North America, and Habitat for Humanity has so many different facets that there's always a way to get involved in any way you might think of. It is fairly easy to become a volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, so that's definitely something I would suggest getting involved in. You can be involved locally, you can be involved, you can go on trips with them. There's just many different ways you can work at their restores, and which I'll get into that in a second, but you can just help in a lot of different ways. But if one wants to be involved but does not feel like, they could really do much for the building process, they can always donate as well. And Habitat for Humanity does rely on financial donations in order to do the work that they do. They accept cash donations, or many locations have restores where you can sell your reusable surplus building materials, furniture, and appliances to the public. And all of this information is on Habitat's website, habitat.org. At these restores, you can also buy any building materials you may need from there to help fund Habitat for Humanity's projects. Vehicles are also options for donations. They really, honestly, take anything. According to Habitat.org, Habitat's Global Impact Fund helps design and replicate innovative programs to serve more low-income families. They build the capacity of our network of U.S. affiliates and national organizations. They cover other costs necessary to ensure that Habitat fulfills its mission with excellence. They ask that you visit your website if you want to become a volunteer, because they have a lot of information on there that they think is necessary for everyone to read before getting involved. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that. There's also what I find very interesting on their website. There are moms, dads, kids even, volunteers that have answered questions like, what does home mean to me, and just kind of reviewed how Habitat for Humanity has helped them, which I thought was a lot of good information. During the selection process, there are a lot of ethical issues that you have to deal with. I think it's definitely a difficult situation to decide which families are given a house and which are not. But you have to be very careful not to overstep boundaries with families' personal lives and not to be biased. This can be difficult when it is done in your own community, though, whenever you know everybody. I've dealt with these issues by having a selection committee that is not within my community to help me make the decision of which families will qualify for a new home. I believe this is fair and unbiased, and an unbiased way of deciding which families are selected throughout the process. The aims of the project is to not only build low-income family houses, but to also better the community. So we're not only building houses for those in need, but are doing small projects around neighborhoods for those who cannot do them themselves, like the fence I was talking about. I first spread the word by letting everyone know what we intended to accomplish in their neighborhood. I found some very willing workers and volunteers to help each day, along with adequate equipment to get us started. I also had to educate myself a little more in the area of public service to see what my next steps were going to be. A lot came out of this project, a little bit more than I expected would. The work I have been doing and the people I've talked to have encouraged me to get involved with Habitat for Humanity in a different way than I have before. I have always known I enjoyed helping others and making a difference, but I didn't know what kind of career would give me that satisfaction and fulfillment at the end of the day. I now am interested in pursuing a career in a nonprofit organization like Habitat for Humanity, so I can be dedicated to helping those in need, which is great, and they've really helped me through that process. So I'm happy I have this opportunity to further my research with them through a career and take things to the next step. My concern in the beginning of my research was whether or not the project would be doable. I found that it was doable as long as I was more of a helper. So early in my research, I was told that you have to have a permit and several other things to do the project that I was wanting. So I reached out to the person that I knew whenever I went on my trip, and he more so had me shadow him and had me follow his lead. So that actually ended up helping a lot more. But I do encourage everyone to look into Habitat for Humanity and what they do as an organization to help communities all around us. They work all the time, tirelessly, 24 hours a day to help everyone in need. They give hundreds of hours of their time, so it would be really nice if we could give just even a couple hours of our time to them. Thanks.